horror fans, and welcome to another episode of Silver Screens. Tonight we are talking about Season 2, Episode 2 of MTV's Scream. Apologies for the delay. Life is crazy right now. So
things are occurring, stuff is happening. Things are going to be delayed for a little while because lol, what is life? So
exactly. So we put that disclaimer at the end of the last video, or at the beginning of the last video, whatever. We put a disclaimer, we warned you, it's happening, so we apologize, but thank you so much for bearing with us. All in all, I feel like this episode really did maintain the momentum of the pilot.
Yeah.
Like, it was good. We had Noah doing his investigation, Audrey trying to circumvent it while also trying to look out for her stalker. We had Brooke standing up to her dad, you know, defending her relationship with Jake.
And we had the new creepy kid in class, the new sheriff's kid, just
turns out to be Noah's. No. I don't know
two
why.
different creepy kids. The sheriff's son is a different creepy kid than the guy's
Kieran's cousin. I don't know why Kieran's name does not want to stay in my brain. I superimposed it with Will last week about 1 million times, or for the last episode about 1 million times. His name is Kieran. So sorry.
And I'm just terrible with names. You probably all noticed this.
But yeah,
so bad.
So a big plot point in this particular episode was Kieran actually getting outed to the sheriff because of a party noise complaint or something.
And I find this kind of interesting because we've only seen him have the one party.
Yeah, no, he says straightforward that he doesn't party a whole lot because he's still in mourning.
So this is how intolerant are these neighbors?
I feel like it's an intentional thing. I feel like whoever is donning the ghost face mask right now is doing this on purpose.
Oh, so you
like
think
either as an attempt,
I thought these were just some awful neighbors.
Either as an attempt to get him out of the way or to get a fellow accomplice in the region. Like if this creepy cousin is in fact another accomplice this season, like that might have been a good excuse to bring him into the picture. But basically,
is making some awful first impressions. Like, holy crap, let's just show up and be like, hello, I'm creepy.
Let me hit on my cousin's girlfriend who is also suffering from PTSD. While just generally being a weirdo.
I'm not going here yet,
That's
but
charming.
I might. By the way, Mom, we should totally stay here. This is Dance Puppet's dance, by the way.
Ugh.
Mom seems like a responsible human
No, she
being.
seems awful. She seems awful too because she's supposed to be his legal guardian, and she was like, "You can stay there. I'll stay here." Like, and it sounded like she gets a check for being his guardian.
Something about the stipend pays the bills. Evidently, she is unemployed and has been for a while. And is living in a one-bedroom apartment with her teenage son and her deadbeat boyfriend.
Crummy boyfriend, yep.
So yeah, this sounds like a great. It's no wonder the kid is creepy.
Yeah, look at his role models.
That's not a good situation, and no privacy, and
Yeah, no. Yeah, he clearly has issues. Hopefully, it's not like a Norman Bates thing going on with that kid, because they seem to be branching out to the other horror movies again this season. So yeah, we have a potential suspect with him. I really liked the dynamic between him and Emma in this episode, though. Not the creepy kid, but Kieran.
Yes.
Because we brought up last time that, you know, she's probably not thinking about the fact that he's also hurting and suffering, and we get a hint of that with the potential of him leaving and the two of them being separated again. And I really liked that they had, you know, some nice moments. I don't like that they went back to the scene of Piper's demise. She hallucinated Ghostface, determined it was a hallucination, and then they're like, I've moved on. Nope. That's not how that works.
I don't think it's that easy to just move on. I think it might have been that in the moment I have moved past this, and in the moment I feel good, and in the moment I feel strong. I don't think it's going to be one of those, I I'm completely over it. It's going to be, this was a good first step.
Yeah, it really is interesting to
And
me.
then she treated herself.
To treat yourself in the car.
Yeah.
But it really does fascinate me how much the series is really pulling from Scream 3, because the only time we ever see Sydney sitting and thinking of, like, really, like, her mind is in the past is in Scream 3 when she's walking through the set of what was her home, basically. And so she's walking through the set, she's hearing Billy's voice in her head. And so it is very interesting that they're taking Emma's development more in the direction of Sydney's character in Scream 3. So of
They're
like
pulling
this,
from the Scream that no one saw. So hopefully.
well, the twist from last season was the twist from Scream 3, so I guess it shouldn't surprise me that that's like their main source of inspiration.
Because, again, I feel like Scream 3 is the one where a lot of people saw it once and stopped caring. And all of the other ones have really good rewatch value.
I
So
will
I
admit
feel
I've only
like-
seen it a couple times.
And so I feel like pulling from Scream 3, it's a little easier for them to be like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And there will be fewer people going, oh, you're ripping it off straight from Scream, or you're ripping it off from a better whatever. Because let's face it, Scream 3 was not a better anything.
No,
And
even the fans dislike that one.
And if you pull it from Scream 3 and you make it work for you and you make it work well, you're going to have a lot fewer people sitting there saying, oh, you're just ripping off something better. Oh, you're just taking something and stretching it out to 10 episodes when it doesn't need to be. I spend a lot of time on the internet. I hear it all.
Oh,
So yeah,
all
I
of
can
it.
see why they're going for stuff for Scream 3, and it's working.
They're making
well.
it work. I think part of the problem with Scream 3 is just that it wasn't the same screenwriter and there were a lot of production issues.
The same screenwriter?
Get out. Get out. You are off this show.
Nope.
I excommunicate you from this show.
This is not a religious experience.
All right.
Doesn't matter that we're recording on Sunday.
But the
Happy Father's Day. Have some dad jokes.
although speaking about hallucinations, the episode opens up again with her in Troy James' house, and she flips out. Nobody else goes in. They don't find Jake's body, and then when she tells her mom, they go back, and there's nothing there.
I just love Mom going, we're going to go back right now. Like, it's in the middle of the night, and you
Like
know
it's
you're in a
safe.
horror movie. What the hell is wrong with you, Daisy? Like, no. Just that is one of the single dumbest decisions I think we've ever seen her make on screen.
Well, and I'll give her credit too with her with Emma going, why didn't you tell me about like this? And it's like, I don't know. If I was her mom, I'd probably agree with her. I wouldn't have thought it was important. Like, it might have genuinely slipped her mind with everything that was going on. Like, why would I bring that up? So I don't feel like this, unlike a lot of the
he
stuff
had a
from last-
family, and his family was kind of outcast after everything went down. And, you know, I'm sure it has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Oh, yeah, there's a big farm.
Well, to be fair, again, like, after last season, I very much felt like, you know, Daisy was withholding information to quote-unquote keep her safe. This, I genuinely think of, oh yeah, that was just a time in my life. Huh. I don't think about it very often.
That was the thing that occurred. We didn't really do much with that.
Yeah, so I feel like Daisy's more defensible, quote-unquote keeping information from Emma in this regard.
I just think running out in the middle of the night, too. That was the dumb decision.
That was a dummy dumb thing to do.
Like, I get it for the keeping the information or just not finding it important at the time, but yeah, it's the middle of the night and you just saw something awful.
Without the new sheriff.
Let's check it out, gang. Well, I get the feeling she's not going to be involving the sheriff a lot because look what happened the last time a sheriff got involved.
Yeah, but this one actually seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Like, again, the only time we really saw him in this episode was when he was basically telling Kieran and Kieran's aunt to get their stuff together. Just like, figure it out.
A sheriff that does his job.
I know.
You don't see a lot of those in horror movies.
But
don't live in towns where law enforcement and investigative reporters are bad at their jobs.
Never, ever, 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 ever
break up.
How
many evers are in that?
I have no idea.
A lot. How it should have ended. Super
So
good.
But yeah, so yeah, let's pop it on over to his son, who is like stalking Brooke in this episode, and they're heavily implying that he's the one with Jake's phone right now because he knew where she was going and when she got up to make that missing persons report, she turned away from him, and that's when she got a text from Jake's phone, and that's when she decided not to file the report. So
he's just creepy. He was disgusting. Being creepy in the pilot, he's being creepy here, and it's just like, guys, is there an actual reason for this, or are we just supposed to sit here and feel supremely uncomfortable? Because even if he's not in on this whole murder scheme, it's still fucked up.
Yeah.
And he still prevented a missing persons report from being filed, which is kind of a big
We're making
deal.
an assumption if he has Jake's phone and if he is the one that sent that text.
The heavy implication is that he is, because he was at Jake's place waiting for her to show up. And someone had to leave the roses there, and I highly doubt that they did it in a ghost face mask. Like, if he is a ghost face this season, fine, cool, I get it, but this could very well just be some guy being a complete creeper, and that...
Something this show and just Scream in general is doing really well is they love their red herrings. They really love their red herrings. He could be a red herring.
Or even if he is a red herring, if he is the one that sent her that text, he prevented a missing persons report from being filed. And again, that's a big deal. The guy's been missing for 48 hours at least. It's a problem.
It is. Yep. And he's just uncomfortable, which is so funny because that's how Jake made me feel all of last season. I'm like, Jake just makes me feel uncomfortable. And now that he's gone, we've immediately replaced him with somebody else who makes me feel even more uncomfortable.
I mean, Jake was just kind of a dick.
Yeah. Well, and
And a voyeur via webcams. Yeah, that was fucked up.
Well, and it seems like whoever's got Jake's cell phone right now is also sending messages not only to Brooke, but also to her father, who Jake and her father had that checkered past, so that's not good. That's a terrible thing to have access to that sort of information, because that's stuff that you can hold over Brooke or use against her, and all sorts of things like that. But yeah, let's see. I want to get back to Noah. Noah and his little quest for the truth, because Audrey's sitting here freaking out. She's jumping at shadows every time she gets a text from the quote-unquote killer. You know, one I really liked was your friends will turn on you when they find out the truth. Because that does motivate her to do everything on her own and do it on the down low and be as quiet and discreet about everything as she can.
And the thing is, if she explained it to Noah, he'd probably be okay. Depending on how she explained it.
Well, and it depends on how heavily she was involved, too.
And whether or not she actually straight up murdered anyone, or whether she was just venting to Paige and then Paige went off the deep end. We don't know.
You mean Piper? Fuck. It's late. It's late.
What's in this?
Pokemon, by the looks of it, depending on how you tilt the glass.
Pokemon are green or people?
Yeah. Anyway, wow. The Piper. Yes. So he's hot on the trail about somebody who left an anonymous, or somebody who left a tip saying that he was there the night Piper was there, that she had a storage unit there, and that she was talking to a girl
at a motel.
At a motel. And so he goes to talk to this informant, and sure enough, Audrey uses, which it was really cool to see her use it in real time.
Yeah.
It was a really fantastic shot, and it was really well done. She basically threatens him, saying like, "You will regret it. Your insides will be outside if you keep talking." And so Noah decides to continue his investigation because that's super straight.
Storage unit. And because, just poor motel guy's like, actually, it turns out I don't remember anything. You need to go. Bye.
See ya.
Like, that was not at all awkward, buddy.
Well, and he looks like he has the most boring job in the world. And, like, so the one time, like, anybody's like, tell me about your life and about this information you have, he's just gushing. And he just looks like he's having a grand old time.
And then, murder.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up dead later at some point, because he actually does know stuff.
The accomplice likes tying up loose ends.
Yup.
So he tells Audrey about the storage unit. Like, we're gonna go look at her storage unit. I'm gonna record the big unveiling tomorrow. I thought you might want to be there. And I guess he told her either he told her or she figured out where it was. She gets there first, and there's nothing in there but a bunch of pine tree air fresheners.
Which is where we get one of the best shots in the entire
shining
episode.
a flashlight through it, and it just...
it's so good.
And Jake's dead body.
With a little note pinned to it.
What was it, like, see how I clean up your messes, or see how I tie up loose ends, or something like that?
It was something along the lines of, like, I'm finishing what you started.
Yeah.
Aren't you proud of me? I learned it by watching you.
Aren't you grateful?
And so it really does seem like whoever this is very intent on punishing her. Because she doesn't seem...
Or they're extremely misguided.
Notice me,
senpai.
She's like, notice me, senpai. Because it could very well be the prankster girl from the very beginning, because she appears to be a red herring in this episode, but it is so easy to change text messaging
from one
conversations
screen to another.
Exactly, it is
especially
super
with
easy.
that much time, just like boop, boop, boop.
She could even like switch phones if necessary. It's more than enough time to slip one in your pocket and take one out. So
I just love the idea of her being behind a good chunk of this, if not all of it, just because that stupid freaking prank at the beginning. Like, holy crap.
It would be really funny if that red herring was, she was the perpetrator of all of this.
It's just like, I'm gonna traumatize someone who's already traumatized. Like, and you don't think they'll have a stabby reflex? Like, are you serious? Again, it's a good thing she went for the, was it ice pick?
Yeah. Not the meat tenderizer.
And not the meat tenderizer, because that'll kill him.
I will say, though, that I am very much looking to the scenery chewing monologue at the end of this season when they reveal who's been torturing Audrey like this, because like this, they really are like building it up to like this person being fueled by self-righteous indignation. Like,
so there is no way that said monologue is not going to just devour the freaking scenery.
Oh, it's gonna be so beautiful. That scenery is gonna be completely devoured.
And for those of you who don't understand what chewing the scenery is, it's basically when someone is overacting with everything they freaking have. If you were to
so every Ghostface monologue at the end of every Scream movie.
Not quite as bad.
No.
I'm thinking, like, if you're into classic Saturday Night Live, Master Thespian just is the biggest, and usually
I'm acting.
It's your 80s B horror movies and B sci-fi movies, and where they're really, really trying to get the part, and holy crap, do they overshoot it by like a mile.
It's like, Tyler.
I'm trying to think of an actor who's known for it, and I don't have anything coming to...
Nicolas Cage, maybe? I don't know.
Nicolas Cage is less scenery chewing and more just kind of batshit insane for a lot of things.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry, maybe?
Tim Curry can get away with it. Tom Cruise on occasion, depending on what he's doing. Tom Cruise kind of chews the scenery in real life. I mean, jumping up and down on Oprah's couch. It's stuff like that. It's a really big production. This is my Oscar monologue, but I will never be nominated because I'm in a bad movie.
Even just to use it in the context of this series, Piper before the reveal, when she's just being Piper, and then Piper post-reveal, hey sis, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just, overacting is a thing a Ghostface has to do. It just is. And we love him or her for it. It's so
And this is your drama term for the night, chewing the scenery.
Yay!
We've learned something.
I'm glad we've learned something. And it does seem it is interesting that the new target now seems to be everyone around Audrey to make her suffer. So that makes me think that it's not one of the surviving members of the cast from last season, which was a possibility.
We have creepy cousin. We have creepy sheriff's kid who has given them all rankings as to how likely they are to survive. And Jake was on the bottom rung and he's gone. So that's a problem.
And we have self-involved therapist who
therapist teacher who is a shitty
psychology teacher who says, hey, student with clear trauma, if you ever need to talk to me, you can talk to me after class.
In front of the entire class during class session.
And then is recording it against this girl's will and wishes.
Or just without her knowledge. That's fucked up.
No, honestly, this girl is more Gale Weathers than Piper ever was. Because Gale Weathers, we love her, but she would do anything to get that story.
Yeah, Gale unethical business practices Weathers.
And she was all about doing anything to sell her book. And this desperate, self-serving monster is clearly looking to cash in on this girl's trauma and probably write a book about it.
Plus, she's underage.
Yeah,
if she's in high school,
monster.
Unless she is in probably the latter half of her senior year, which I don't think is it can't be the case, is the beginning of the school year, she's underage. If you're under 18, you can't consent.
That just added a whole new level of ick.
Oh, yeah.
Ick to what this therapist is doing.
I don't care if she's played by a 20-something-year-old, and let's face it, they all are. She's underage, and this is stunningly illegal in more than one way.
Yeah.
Namely because she's underage, let's be real.
I thought
it's not against the law to record a conversation. It's fucked up to do it without one participant's knowledge. It's straight up illegal when they're under 18 in this sort of setting.
Again, where she's probably looking to cash in on it, she's going to write a book. Well, not only that, but when there is an actual killer running around, being told, oh, your sense of paranoia and like your hallucinations of seeing things that aren't there, don't rely on those. Here's some meds. Like, that is the absolute worst thing that you can do when you're in this type of horror movie scenario.
She is hallucinating and having panic attacks. So,
because she did see Piper in the coffee shop, which she wasn't there.
So it's trigger warning, Piper. So it makes sense.
Real life doesn't come with trigger warnings, and I thought that
just
was
most media.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that she'd want to try and work through this, and that's what makes the seeing Ghostface thing so interesting, because aside from Audrey, no one else knows that there's a threat. No one else knows that Jake is dead. So even if the new Ghostface was there and then just in the 2.5 seconds between, I love that. Just kind of, okay, she saw me, flattens out on the ground. Oh God, she's there making out with her boyfriend. I can't leave.
It's all in the presentation.
Why didn't I bring my Kindle?
Nothing else, you can say that Ghostface commits. Every iteration of Ghostface commits to the
I'm just imagining like flop down in the grass and I can't stand up and just kind of rolling away sadly.
I'm just gonna take my raincoat and my mask and just scooch on out over here.
I'm gonna army crawl my way awkwardly out of this situation because I can hear it from here.
Well, and
I don't want this.
And by the sound of it, it sounds like Troy, James, and the rest of the James family, they've left and they're never coming back. They're not like hanging around on the outskirts of town. Supposedly. So I'm not ready to dismiss any of them as suspects just yet.
Yeah.
Because it was a couple episodes before we got introduced to Piper. So it could be that we haven't been introduced to this season's killer just yet, or at least one of them. And we don't know how many of them we've got running around this season as well. Again, they could be different people operating on different agendas, which I think would be absolutely hysterical if there were two copycats and they had absolutely nothing to do with each other.
See, I would like the idea of the person who's more, the person who came up with this just wants to torture her because, you know, you did wrong, you teamed up with Piper and that's awful. And then the person they bring in, the second ghost face they bring in is, she was a part of it, she's awful. And this other person's like, oh, well, this is for justice then. This is revenge, this is right. I would love to see that sort of fucked up lawful evil.
I would like to see, if we're going the not different agendas route and they are working together, I would like to see one being the, we are, like, I am the spear of justice, and the other one being, I'm your #1 fan! Like, that would be
I would
real
be
funny.
down for that. That is horrifying. And then the way you finish is to turn them against each other.
Maybe. I mean, ghost faces often plan on murdering one another anyway, so...
Or one of them plans on murdering the other, and the other has absolutely no idea. Scriform. Yeah, no.
I'm dying.
I honestly think that some Ghostface on Ghostface violence would be incredible.
Oh, that would be so great.
If
like,
they could manipulate each other into it towards the end, just like, well, no, it's not justice, it's this. Or, oh, no, they're trying to kill us all. They don't care about us, and just kind of messing with it, turning the game back on them and messing with them to the point where they take each other out.
Or if they are two completely different people operating on two different agendas, how great would it be if they showed up at the same place and they're like, this is not a part of the plan, and they try to kill each other because they're
I just want them turning the corner and literally running into each other.
Oh, it'd be so
Give
funny.
us a very short Three Stooges sort of moment, and then have that be the end of the episode. They run into each other, they get back up, or they stagger back, or whatever, and then they stop and they both just kind of look.
I feel like that won't happen. Like, if that does happen, it's going to be in an expositional flashback, because you do that and it completely takes away from the menace that is the person.
Because we're all sitting here going, holy shit, it's a ghost face! Pause the DVR, let me make popcorn.
Exactly.
Like, that's how this goes down. Popcorn.gif. I want popcorn.
Now, here is a thing, though. There was a vagrant, and if it wasn't a member of the James family, there was a vagrant hanging out in this house who had pictures of Emma when she was a child, and her dad has just rolled back into town.
This is true.
He could have been squatting in that house.
And kind of stalked her in his car, which, what the fuck? But that was
Tom
also...
Everett Scott, you should know better.
But that was also the house where, you know, we murdered the shit out of Jake. So that's a problem.
Like, I'm not ruling him out as a suspect, though.
But I find it highly unlikely that he would be squatting in the house. And it also happens to be the house that Ghostface built. Or the house that Ghostface took over, whatever. That took the pictures, that murdered the kid, that dragged into the house that Ghostface built. I don't know.
Free rent, man. I don't need to know what my roommate's doing.
In my extensive The House That Jack Built parody has fallen on itself. Because I don't remember enough of that poem to be able to parody it effectively. Anyway, I think that's everything.
I think so too. Just all in all, this was really great in terms of momentum. I'm really looking forward. I think we're going to get more of, I really do think we're going to get a little bit more of the psycho stuff.
We need more of the girl who's supposed to be tutoring her.
Yeah,
like
because she just kind of showed up in this episode, and Emma blew her off accidentally and was like, I'm really sorry, can you still help me? And she was like, yeah, you're cool. I always thought you were cool before all this stuff happened, so sure.
I really hope it's not just we brought in another person of color. We're gonna kill her too. Like, I will be pissed if that's the case.
Well, I'm kind of annoyed that they killed off Jake and then replaced him with another...
creepy white guy?
No. Jake, who I can't tell what ethnicity he is. And then they bring in this, the sheriff's kid, who is also brown-skinned, and I can say that because I've got brown skin myself, but it was also ambiguously brown and also creepy
as fuck.
That is setting off all those things. I was like, guys, brown skinned actors are not interchangeable. Please stop doing that.
Just keep ratcheting up the creepy, and they need to not.
Well, again,
that's messed up.
He could just be the biggest of red herrings. We shall see. And yeah, like I said,
that doesn't make what he was doing any less fucked up.
No,
and
that's
in some
the point.
cases illegal.
We are watching horror, but the main thing is that this was a really good episode. It maintained the momentum. We've got a lot of potential red herrings. Everybody's a suspect, and you will hear us say that.
Everyone's a suspect.
Which is a very specific formula.
A very specific formula.
I like how they're dealing with.
I like how they're dealing with it.
I like how they're dealing with Emma and Kieran's relationship. I like Audrey having to go rogue to keep her secret safe. And yeah, I really I like in general where this season's going.
Yeah.
Yep. Like I said, the only other thing I have to say is that I apologize for our recording schedule. It's going to be a little wonky for a bit, so
bear with us. And we might be adding another show to the mix, so stay tuned for that.
Woo! That'll be fun.
It was a nice little siren noise.
Woo! Oh, it's late. It's late.
It's late. We're tired.
Anyway, we want to know, what did you guys think of the episode? And I would also like to know, what is your favorite ghost-faced scene? Because one of my favorites, apart from the opening scene in the first movie, is when Sydney's on the phone with him in the sorority house, and then he hangs up he's still on the phone with her, and then jumps out because he's actually in the room. That's one of my favorite scenes, because you actually get to hear Roger Jackson's voice, like, in the room with her and not over the phone. I really like that. So I want to know, what is your guys' favorite Ghostface scene, and would you like to see Ghostface just run into each other?
This isn't fucking Trevor. It's one of my favorites. And that's because we've discovered that one of the best worst things to do is to do Ghostface lines in your best Mickey Mouse voice. So you've got, this isn't fucking Trevor. If you hang up the phone, I'll cut you like a fish.
It's adorable.
It's awful.
I will give so many brownie points to anybody who can do Ghostface lines in the Mojo Jojo voice.
Oh my god,
so many brownie points.
But we require a video and or audio proof. For me, I want to know, God, I had something really good and I just completely forgot about it in the wake of Mickey Mouse Ghostface, because that is super fun. Yeah, I don't freaking remember.
Maybe next week. Or next episode.
What do you want the Ghostface theory to be? Like, what do you think is going on behind the scenes with Ghostface here?
Yeah, do you think there are two of them like before? Do you think they're working together? Do you think they're separate? Or do you think it's just one guy running around right now and a bunch of random creepos in Lakewood? Because it seems to be a cesspool of creepy people.
Leave this community, this city. They just need to
go.
Just go.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
On Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet.
Megan, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. Be sure to follow Silver Screams on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's Silver_Screams for the first two. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you all next time.